Hi everyone, this is Spasargon. This weekend I had plans to continue recording a new video for the channel, but after yesterday's news I declined because now I am totally lack of energy to enjoy anything about the hobby. As many of you already know, Danny Paraiso, most known as Eudoxio, has sadly passed away. Myself and a big part of the fans community of HeroQuest are in shock. Our heart is with him, his family and his friends. I would like to publicly share my feelings about this very hard topic, the hardest one since I created the channel. Eudoxio was not only for me one good friend from the hobby, but also one of those persons who everyone who met him is already missing him. And from the hobby standpoint, I think I can say he was one of the most passionate and active creators of fan-made content from the last years. Unfortunately, since some weeks ago, the Spanish fans community of HeroQuest was really worried about Eudoxio's health. He informed some of us about the difficult health challenge he was facing, and his updates were not good. But even in such critical circumstances, he always talked with others with tons of humor. He truly was special. I recently even joked with him about he should recover soon or he would force me to make a video like this very one in my channel, because I really thought missing him was going to be so hard to believe and accepted by many fans, including myself. The sad news have also run through international communities of fans, since Eudoxio also was very well known outside Spain's borders. His legacy within the community is immense. This Sunday morning, all fans who would like to lovely tribute Eudoxio and share their memories and experiences with him will have a chance to do it in the Spanish YouTube channel La Guarida de Morcar. Everyone is invited. But life and the hobby have suffered a big loss, so beyond the gaming tables I want to also dedicate Danny some words here, in a place and a way that I know he would also appreciate a lot, as a great lover of digital topics and retro culture in general. I met Eudoxio approximately 5 years ago in the old Forum website. At the time he was starting to deploy a mod to play HeroQuest via Steam's tabletop simulator, since he was a great fan of such gaming tool. Like me, he was one of the very few Spanish fans of HeroQuest who were still active in the legendary forum at such time, and he wanted to contact me to work in which finally was our first project together. The fan translation to Spanish of the Mighty Tire quest books. At the time we thought they would never be released in our language. As soon as we started to work, we understood each other very well, so the project was really gratifying for us. We worked hard but enjoyed and learned a lot, something so easy with him. It was a great start for a great story. After this project, Eudoxio encouraged me to be also part of the Spanish fans community in Telegram, where other fan projects were ongoing, and he also invited me to be part of a selected group of great fan creators known as Conjuntavitis, something I happily accepted and I am proud of, which let me know many other great people from the hobby. In fact, he was the man who introduced me in the current Spanish community of HeroQuest, beyond the classic existing forums. After that, we continued collaborating in many other projects. One of the most known outside Spain's borders was the adaptation to modern HeroQuest of the classic Japanese version of the game, and he decided to title such HeroQuest questbook as The Legend of Nif Island. Yes, Eudoxio was the first person ever who gave such name to the Japanese campaign. After Nif Island, we also worked in the adaptation for modern HeroQuest of the classic European Maxi Quest of the Dark Company. He really loved those two adaptation projects, which files he shared in Spanish but also in English language. Eudoxio and myself had a very similar concept of the hobby. We always understood that sooner or later fan-made creations should be always shared by free with the rest of the fans. Since all of this was just an amazing hobby for him, which made him happy. About the Dark Company, Eudoxio had plans to work on a sequel for modern HeroQuest, which he titled The Path to the Darkness, and we had some exchanges to make it together again, but unfortunately we didn't. He even created another unreleased project, Hero Crusade, a crazy but cool adaptation to HeroQuest of a Space Crusade board game. Eudoxio was also a great lover of other games and franchises like Dungeons & Dragons. As example, years ago he also made and shared a great fan translation to Spanish of the Forest expansion of the old board game of Dungeons & Dragons published by Parker Company, which was never officially released in Spanish language. I printed at home such material long ago to insert it in my original English copy of the expansion, and I remember adding his name there and joking with him about it. But I am sure that the most known fine project he made about Dungeons & Dragons, and the one he really dedicated more time and passion, was his famous HeroQuest crossover project with the classic animated TV series of Dungeons & Dragons. An immense and funny project which was even reviewed by several prestigious YouTube channels after its publication, like HeroQuest or La Guarida de Morcar. He was a specialist on this TV series and created a full quest book aligned with events and characters seen in the screen, with a complete definition of dedicated special rules, heroes, monsters, artifacts, and their corresponding full set of cards and tiles, all of them trying to recreate the same feeling on the HeroQuest board as the series transmitted to those people who were still kids in the 80s, like he was. Nobody had done something like this before, and even less with the unique and genuine taste of Eudoxio for this kind of creations. And like with the other projects, he shared by free with the fans all such incredible work. The last fan project I had the privilege to work with him was my Alchemy HeroQuest mini-expansion for Rise of the Dread Moon, a project he knew I had plans to also show in a future dedicated video on my channel. For such fun project, I was the one who asked him for help, and like he always did with everybody, he didn't hesitate to respond the call. It was summer 2025, and I had already written the conceptual draft of the mini-expansion, but I had no time to make the required card pictures nor the overall edition, so he gave me a lot of support on that. I remember how many jokes we made during the creation process. I never expected to get such amount of lots from an expansion focused on rare plants. And of course, I remember he also gave me several cool ideas for the project, since we had worked before in many other ones, and from game design standpoint, we already know each other very well. My relation with Eudoxio was mainly linked with the hobby, but we had a very close and sincere connection. You realize it once you see you are talking with somebody about topics you don't talk with anyone else. I am lucky to have many memories with him, all of them good, which is something really difficult to be found nowadays, so I am sure anyone can imagine how horribly sad I feel about what has happened to him. But Eudoxio did not only collaborate with me, of course I was just one of many. Through the years he worked in projects with many other fans of the HeroQuest community. Mentioning the entire list now I guess would make this video absurdly long, and probably I would miss to mention someone, so I prefer to not do it. But I have no doubt Eudoxio was important for many people, although I bet he had never believed it, since that would be something very far from his humble personality. But I honestly think his true legacy is immense, not only from the hobby perspective, but also from the personal one. We truly loved him in the fans community. Eudoxio was one of the very few people who I shipped by surprise a physical copy of my redesign of the Dark Company back in December 2025, and I still remember and keep what he texted me once he received his copy. He just gave me million thanks for counting with him, like if he was not eligible for a gift like that. But of course he actually was, just looking how many projects we had worked together. This man was Eudoxio. We will miss you, Danny. You have left us too soon, but wherever you continue signing now, please don't stop playing and laughing like you always did. Man, thanks for all the time and conversations we shared and for all you did. You have been a light for us and part of the history of many. This hobby will never be the same without you, but I am sure you would like to see the quest continuing. Rest in peace, our hero.